All right. Hello, Emily. How are you?
Hello, Victoria. I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. I almost wore a white sweatshirt right now just to
We
match.
should have coordinated for our first podcast of all things. You would have thought we would have coordinated our outfits.
But that's okay. I mean, in the future we'll coordinate. And we both had very busy days. You just came back from where did you come back from? What were you doing today?
Yeah. So today was my fiance's stepdad's 50th birthday party. So we had a big family get together celebration and a huge seafood broil. And it was amazing and fun and delicious. And yes. Oh
Were you hit by the rain? Were you in an area where it was
my
like
God. Yeah.
okay?
No, it
Because
was bad. We were like delayed a good like 2 hours this morning. We were supposed to leave at like 11:30 and probably didn't leave till like 1:30 because we were flooded in to our little complex that we live in. It floods so bad. So we
that
were
is,
flooded
oh,
in.
you're still in the same place, the
Yes.
apartment. Okay. So, for those that don't know, Emily and I used to work in Greenville, North Carolina with each other. And I have so many fun memories at your
I
place in
know.
Greenville. Yeah. But no, I'm here in DC right now, and there's been like a tropical cyclone. I think it's a cyclone, at least that's what my notification said on my phone about some bad weather, and it's been raining all day. So it's been
No,
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not fun. Not great weather. It's definitely cooled down for I need to scoot back. I feel like I'm really in everybody's face. I feel like it's really cooled down the area, which is nice because it usually doesn't cool down this early. I feel like in North Carolina, at least. So I am grateful that it's a little cooler. But yeah, the rain's been pretty brutal. And our poor littlest kitten is terrified of the rain. So he's been hiding in the bathroom all day.
You have
So
like a whole farm with you. How many cats and dogs do you have?
yeah, we have a dog and two cats now. And I want more, but no, it's too
Not
much.
yet.
Not
What are
yet.
you? It looks like you're drinking out of a goblet. What is that?
I know.
But
Doesn't it look so fancy? I am not sure. I think it's supposed to be a wine glass. And another old worker actually got it for me. And this is my first time ever using it because I thought I would look a little bougie today. I'm also drinking wine, which I don't like. So,
you don't have to drink all of it. You can just sip on it. You can just
oh
hold
yeah,
on to it.
just yep,
Yeah.
just to keep the vibe.
To keep the vibe going. I have like a vodka soda mix in
Mm,
my fridge, like a pre-made kind of like a seltzer mix in my fridge, and I do not want to get up and get it, so I'm not going to.
I guess.
But yeah, and also because like yeah, it's just awkward just to get up and the camera, just all that good stuff. Not so good. But
Hear
I
that.
think so like for our first podcast, we recorded a podcast conversation like 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago or whatever, um,
Hmm.
with someone who is an OnlyFans creator. The number
Yeah.
one most liked OnlyFans creator. How did you feel about that, Emily? About that conversation?
I thought it was awesome. I was so excited to talk to our guest, which you guys will get to hear from a little bit later. But I was just really interested to hear because I've never gotten to talk to somebody who's done, been on a platform like that. And I just think it was so fascinating to see the direction that she's been able to take that as a business, really. And I think, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a really great conversation. She's super awesome. So, what did you think of our conversation?
I was not sure what to expect. It definitely felt more like a business conversation than anything
Yeah.
else. Like just talking to someone who runs a business, which I guess that's what it is. I mean, some people don't because she had a business before she does what she does now. She was
Mhm.
talking about like selling things on eBay or something like that when she was in high school, which so she kind of had that background and how to I guess market and like set a foundation for like moving things forward. I thought it was interesting that like I don't agree with this idea, but I think it's an interesting idea is to like see yourself as the content, which I mean,
Yeah.
but how is that different than what I mean? There is a difference, but like how is that? How much of a degree is that different than what we do in our lives as like in digital media? You know?
Yeah, I think that's so true. And I think we'll definitely I think we'll kind of deep dive onto it later. You and I both have some videos that we kind of want to like show and get some reactions to from each other. And I think mine will kind of bring up that like I don't know, society seems to put so much value and profit already on being a woman in general. And I think that the fact that this is somebody who's been able to say, well, you know what, if it's going to be kind of done already, let me, profit off myself and be confident in myself in doing it. I think it's kind of a really cool, outlook and viewpoint to have, and how she's gone into it. I think it's so cool.
Well, there's so much. So one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to this person is because there's so much hate. Like, I don't, Emily, you're like, okay, I'm a constantly online person. I don't know if you're a constantly online person. Are you?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
For my job, a lot of the time I need to be. I wish I wasn't. I need to disconnect sometimes, but yeah.
No, I totally
We're
get
both,
it.
yeah, very much.
And so a lot of things that I see is just like maybe because I'm in the constantly online space where it's like mostly male dominated, but it's like a lot of the content that I see is like high value men don't get girls that do XYZ or do that or do this or whatever.
Mhm.
Like, so much judgment, and it's like, well, at the same time, it's like what why are that's such a buzzword, like, or yeah, like high value men, like what does that even mean? Why did that become such a thing in the past like 2 years? I feel like that popped up, maybe it happened before the pandemic, but I feel like because a lot of people were just cooped up, it allowed a
Yeah.
space for people just to market, like,
Fester. Yeah.
yeah,
Love
exactly.
that too.
Have you heard
No,
that?
I definitely agree.
Okay, I was gonna
Wait,
say,
what'd you say? Go.
have you heard that term before?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think it kind of has come with the era of, I'm sure you've seen, I'm sure most people have seen it, kind of the Andrew Tate era that was. And just, yeah, kind of the rhetoric around those conversations and around, I don't know, the energy that was being kind of put on men and women in a sense, but it definitely had some negative backlash, I think, with the way that women were being viewed as a whole in society by men, and the way that men were feeling about themselves and viewing women and things like that. And I think it's a very kind of deep rabbit hole of insecurities and a lot of other, yeah, I think insecurity is kind of the big, yeah.
Yeah. No, and that's interesting because it's like there are, like, as much as like there's rhetoric about like how hard it is to be a woman, it is kind of like I am 100% open, not open, but I agree with the opinion that it's also hard to be a man, especially in this day and
Mhm.
age. Um,
Yeah.
I just don't see these like 5-minute YouTube clips of how to become a high value man and stuff like that. That's not the answer. And in fact, it's
Right.
like creating the divide even more.
I agree. And I think, and I always like to joke, like, the alpha male term that's
Yeah.
used a lot, like alpha male, high value male, da 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 da. Wasn't that, and I should probably, like, before I'm just spewing things out, I should probably have looked this up to double check. But I'm pretty sure that scientists like disproved that alphas were a thing in, like, animal world, animal kingdom. Like, it's not a real basis necessarily.
Well,
Am I
no,
making that up?
no, I don't think you're making that up. I think so. I remember listening to like an I don't know, anthropology
Yeah.
podcast where they talk about like the alpha male in like gorillas and apes or something, like one of
Mhm.
those species. If a gorilla is extremely aggressive and extremely like yeah, like aggressive and dominating and domineering, then they actually get killed by like the other gorillas because you can't have that in a society. Like that could, like, I could totally be
Yeah.
misremembering that, but I think I do remember, like, if you're too aggressive, if you're too, dominating, then it's like you're not good for the pack, and so the pack will. But I think that's just in gorillas. I don't know
Yeah.
what the wolves,
Just a
the
girl.
other species. Um,
No.
it
Oh,
is.
my AirPod just
I hate when that happens.
live podcast.
Yeah, no, this is a very low stakes like podcast live
Yeah.
setup we're doing. Very chill
Yeah. It's just me and Heck hanging out and chatting.
and drinking out of goblets of wine. Yeah, like we
Yes.
normally do. um, So for your so another thing that we kind of brought up in this conversation was the fact that like we both were in a public facing role,
Yeah.
like as news reporters. And we talked about the spectrum of messages that we get, from the negative, what are you wearing? Why is she on TV looking like that, to the positive, send me feet pics. I don't know if that's positive, but
I mean,
the
it's better than the hateful. Well, actually, I don't know if I'd rather.
I don't
But
know.
yeah, what are some of the ones, like, do you remember any of the ones that you got specifically? I can remember some of mine, but do you remember any of the ones that like stood out to you, or you were like, oh my God?
So this still happens. There's a person, and I'm not going to say the person's username, but there is a
Dang it.
person that will follow and unfollow, and it's like an older man, and that person will literally like follow and unfollow just to like get, I guess, attention, to see like if
Yeah.
I'll follow them back or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But specifically, I mean, I would have to go back in my DMs, and I did keep them just to like remind, like not to like remind myself like, oh, like this is something that I need to remind myself of, just like, oh, this happened, and it's important to like be okay with this, not be okay with it, but just like integrate it into like not my well-being, but just like, I don't know. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
Okay.
I try, it's hard not to internalize stuff like that because you don't want to,
Hmm.
but at the same time, you kind of like, it's kind of, why the hell, like this person took time out of their day to reach out and do all this and do all that. It's an uncomfortable closeness that I think people sometimes feel to people in positions of, I guess, public facing people. From anything, like, I'm sure from what our guest did, and from, being news reporters like we were, and from, being even, a famous TikToker or things like that. I think, yeah, people for some reason feel an uncomfortable closeness to people in in public positions, and it's uncomfortable and it's weird, and I in a sense you want to understand that they're, I don't know, maybe trying to be nice, but no, it's just creepy.
No, I totally.
That's my base thought. It's just creepy.
And then I kind of like feel guilty sometimes because I'm like, there have been times in my life where I've like reached out to like an artist, like a musician or something, and be like, I'm such a fan, and I'm like, ooh, am I being creepy right now? But I feel like just as long as you just say like I'm a fan, I feel like
That's
that's
fair.
fine. Yeah.
I definitely sent some really cringy messages out to people when I was in like middle school, and I wanted to be famous, and I was just contacting all the people that I thought I could contact. And so, yeah, I'm sure I've done it myself.
I think we've all been through a phase, yeah.
Yeah.
And then and then you go through it on like the other end, and you're like, oh, okay, well now that's when you know like where the boundaries are. That makes sense.
That's
Yeah.
so true.
Okay, so besides our very traumatic past that we've had, and just kind of like beyond the topic of conversation that we have, which was talking with Bryce Adams, which is the interview that we're going to show later on or whatever. I think maybe something that we should also kind of like lay out is why we started this podcast, which is not really like anything that's specifically mission driven or business driven or anything like that. It's just that we both used to have a podcast together in North Carolina, which we won an award for, which is no big deal, but we did. And we're kind of starting over from scratch. We both left the TV news industry, but we're still involved in like digital media. And we're also really good friends. Like we've been good friends for like the past 3 years. So, yeah.
We thought, why the hey not? Why the heck not? Why the
Literally.
hey not?
Yeah. And we have so much to talk about.
We do, I know. So excuse us if we just go off on tangents, because this is also like a fun chance for me and Vic to catch up and talk about things that we, don't get to talk about all the time because we don't get to see each other as often. So
Exactly. Yeah. And our desks were like right across from each other in the newsroom. Which was
Yeah,
like,
exactly. So we really were like all the time.
yeah, with the COVID screen right in between us.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
Yeah. That was
Good
pretty,
times.
yeah. And then, yeah, but Greenville, North Carolina, if y'all don't know where it is, not surprising. I didn't know where it was until I applied for the job, but it's a lot of fun. It's home to the ECU Pirates. So, yeah, they're a big deal.
They think so. Yes.
They
I'm
are.
kidding. I'm an alumni. I love the Pirates. Me and my fiance met at ECU. I still live in the area. It's a great place. It's a college town, man. You know, I'm just ready to get out.
Yeah, I feel. Well, speaking of college, the reason I'm all Texas out today because the Longhorns are playing right now and they're winning. I have my Texas. Oh, here it is. And I'm also going to Texas in like 2 weeks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, for the state fair, which is where I got the shirt. Is the state fair of Texas. It says "Don't mess with Texas" on the back. And the
That's
reason
so
why, yeah, you get like a bunch of free stuff. So it is a lot of fun.
like a thing that you guys did all the time growing up.
Say it again.
Is that like something you guys did all the time growing up? Because that's where you grew up, was in Texas.
Yeah. So
Fun.
it's, yeah, I try to go every year. And Emily, when are you going to Texas, to Dallas?
I don't know. Need to plan a date.
Yeah. Okay. So let me pull up. Okay. I get scared
Yeah.
about this stuff. Not scared, but like I just don't like talking like that. Like talking about, I feel like we need to talk about this stuff just because there needs to be like alternative voices to like what's popular, quote unquote, even though some people do criticize these people. Let me see, because we're doing this live, people. If I can share my screen, which is like, let me exit out of all the things. Oh, wait. Okay, so Texas Longhorns, quick update: 28 against the Baylor Bears, 20-6. So exiting out of that.
Yeah, hide your inappropriate tabs, Victoria.
Oh, I mean, we're talking about only fans, so I have to have content up on the side. Okay, so I had that, and then again, we have like an amazing live, low production value. There we go. Wow. Oh, and you can see our background in this one.
Love.
It, it, it's supposed to be a like a nightscape scene because we haven't decided what time we're going to what's the word, like broadcast live every Saturday, and I don't think there needs to be like a dedicated time just yet.
Yeah.
But
Just test the waters.
exactly. But it definitely is gonna be after dark. Okay. Here we go. So let's see. There we go. All right. Wow.
Amazing.
Did that live. Look at us. Okay. So this is called the Fresh. Oh, I hate this. Sorry. This is so cringe and I hate just talking about this. So this is called the Fresh and Fit podcast. Have you heard of them, Emily?
I've seen clips of these guys on TikTok and various other social media platforms, and yeah.
And yeah, the number one men's podcast in the world. Okay.
Yep.
Money Monday, Womanizer Wednesday, Fitness Call-In Friday. And I confess, I've seen mostly just clips. I tried watching a full video stream just to be fair, because if we're going to be criticizing them, then it's like, okay, I want to at least see some of it. But I just did not see the value in it when I got to like about 15 minutes. I really didn't see the value in continuing, except for maybe to understand what a lot of people are consuming.
Yeah. It makes you a little nervous because it is, while not all of them are super targeted, I would say majority of them are very targeted in a aggressive with I don't know, with almost like sometimes there's like these violent undertones in just the tone of their voice and the way that things are spoken, that it's just this very aggressive, hateful energy towards another whole population of the, world, and it's a little uneasing sometimes.
And what do you think fuels that? Like, do you think it's like to me, I can see that these two guys were just frustrated with a lot of things happening around them, like either in their lives, like, and this is the thing, like, I'm not like, they're obviously successful, they're very, very successful, more successful than us, like, okay, but at the same time, it's just kind of like, what's for number one, what's the price of that success for you as a human being, and number two, how long can this go on for?
Yeah, I don't know, because I almost want to believe that a lot of the time that most of this type of rhetoric is for attention and for views and for, clickbait and things like that. But at the same time, when you start to see the gathering that these types of, I guess, speakers, podcasters, people gain, and the groups that they're able to kind of create, it makes it a little more unnerving that you're like, oh, this is a whole nother extreme where it's a clickbait that's actually fueling something in other people, in a large group of other people. So I don't know. I always want to believe that but I don't know. I don't know where it stems from. I don't know. Is it something that happened to somebody? I mean, that explains the most things that we do as human beings, that, we had an experience at one point that's fueled our reaction and our reaction to things. I don't know. Do you have any thoughts? Because
Yeah, I'm just gonna read some of these out loud, like, because it's a lot of these are like trying to get a reaction, but like at the same time, it's trying to understand like where it all started from, and this like what prompted this person to be okay with saying things like, and this is from their YouTube page, all girls go through this phase and become miserable. That's the title of a video, and it's a 7-minute clip, and the YouTube thumbnail title says, "You're hot for now," or "This is what the wall looks like," and it's a picture of a girl, like obviously in tears, saying she cried exclamation point. Um, and then and this will be the last one that I say, like, until we maybe watch one clip. Here's how you maintain a long-term relationship, and then it's the guy. I don't even know the guy's name, and then it's a YouTube thumbnail that says "foot on her neck," and it's kind of like, what kind of, number one, the kind of woman that you're attracting with those types of, in what I would guess, in those types of clips and stuff like that, the guy that's using that type of advice is attracting women who are prone to like abusive behavior, which is not good for the woman or for the man, if that makes sense.
No. Yeah,
Um,
I agree. And I
so
also I find it a very hard time with people who are willing to speak on behalf of others, if you know what I mean. Like, for a man like this to go, onto these public platforms and make such very blatant statements about female experiences and what women want. Females, I hate that phrasing. What women want and what you need to do to da da da, and speaking on behalf of what us as a female women population want. I don't think that's fair, because in the same sense, like, how as women we shouldn't be allowed, I think, to speak on the male experience and say this is what, I don't know. I have a hard time with people speaking on behalf of others or speaking on others' experiences with such like a hard iron fist of this is, the end all be all.
yeah, and I also just don't like from my understanding, what they're trying to do is like teach men how to become like high value men or whatever, but it's like, this is not the rhetoric that makes you into someone that is desirable, and not even desirable as like a partner, but desirable as a friend even.
Yeah, it's just a little, it's troubling. It's scary to think that there is a, you know, whole younger generation of men possibly being raised and on consuming this type of content, and this is kind of their outlook on women and their opinion on women, is hearing from these older guys who seem like and act like they have all the answers and know all of the things that, you know, you need to do and how you need to act and how you need to do this. And but it's not, I don't know, yeah, it's scary is, I guess, the simplest word that I can use.
It's scary because of the amount of views that they get. But I will push back. Like there are other podcasts out there that are like trying to well, they're not trying to say the exact same message, but they're trying to like create like a better role model for men that are
Right. And
actually good. Yeah.
I absolutely can agree with that for sure. And I
Yeah.
think in the same sense, there are definitely, you know, women content creators and women podcasters or speakers who kind of do the same thing. And I can't name any off the top of my head, but I think there are definitely women in the same sense who do that. And I think it's toxic. And I definitely think that, unfortunately, that right now, definitely the male voice is louder in this kind of arena. But yes, her. Thank you. Okay, actually, yes, her, for example, Pearl. Yeah, it's very destructive, I think, on both ends. It's very destructive to a lot of the work that both men and women have done on their own to become, you know, a part of this progressive society where people want to be able to have free will, true free will, and do the things that you want to do as a woman. If I want to go out and have a job, awesome. If I want to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom, awesome. I have the choice to do either of those, and it shouldn't matter. Or a man, if he wants to do either or, shouldn't matter. And it's people like this person and people like the previous group that you had pulled up that are really, I think, deconstructing all of that. And there is a very unfortunate large group of people who are very much on board with this kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that was long-winded on my end.
No, that's perfect, Emily. Like, just go as long-winded as you want. Like, just put it out there. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, like, so Fresh and Fit was the male equivalent, and then Pearl is like the female equivalent. And I'm gonna make a confession. Like, ever since I was like maybe 12 or 13, I was like super like hustle, 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 like girls, feminism, like all things. Like, I used to think like being people who wanted to be a stay-at-home mom or housewife or all that kind of stuff were like brainwashed.
No,
But
same.
yeah, yeah.
Now I'm kind of like, oh.
Now I'm just like, because, and I had this conversation with my mom because I would tell my mom, I'm like, I don't get, because I would have friends that would want to be stay-at-home moms, and I'm just like, why would you want to be a stay-at-home mom? I just don't understand. Like, I was so bratty, and I'd be like, why would you want to do that? And then my mom just kind of just said, well, some people just like that's where they find fulfillment in taking care of others,
Mhm.
and they find fulfillment, like they don't have ambition, like work ambitions necessarily, but they do have ambitions to like provide for other people. And back then I didn't get that, but now that I'm older, I'm starting to get it a little bit more.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And from my sense, I used to think that way, and my fiance can even attest to that. That like I used to be like, I don't even know if I want kids. Like, I definitely don't want to be a stay-at-home mom. Da 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 da. And now, as I'm getting older, and you know, we're getting close. We've been together 8 years, so it's been, you know, conversations and for many years. But now that we're getting closer to that time, I'm like, oh my God, wait, I would love to be a stay-at-home mom and just I want to just wear a freaking flowy dress every day and freaking like walk outside of my garden and bake bread. Like, what the hell? Like, I never wanted to do any of that stuff. But I think that's kind of the beauty of the world that we live in is you can change your mind and you can make those choices and you can do either or and both, or be a stay-at-home mom and run a business, or you know, have a stay-at-home father, and everything's fine. I just think, yeah, I think conversations like that and topics like that are just so not dehumanize. It's just deconstructive. It's really just deconstructive, I think, too.
Yeah. Like one-dimensional.
Yeah,
It's
very
like
much
people
so.
can change and grow, and like their values can change, and the things that they look forward to can change. I mean, like, because, and this is something that is also another confession. Like, I wanted to be a TV news reporter because I wanted to be on TV and I wanted to take credit for my work. And then I lived that life. And yeah, sure, it was fun to be like an anchor on Saturday night or like during the weekday and like feel and like have people like shout you out and all that stuff. But then it also just became very like it wasn't what I was looking for. Like, I'm not gonna say anything negative about the experience, because there are people who still enjoy doing that. But I'm just saying, like, it wasn't enough to fulfill the ambitions that I had. Um, yeah. So, and then the other kind of the other podcast I wanted to show you, which I go back like, it's called the. Have you heard of this one, the Whatever Podcast?
No.
So the Whatever Podcast is supposed to be like a dating podcast, and they'll have like a panel of men and a panel of women, mostly women, I think. And usually the women are like they target certain kinds of women, and I think it's because they said they live in like a college, like a party college town. They live somewhere in California where there's like a college nearby. And so they'll like have on these like college girls who are obviously partying and doing things, um, and they'll kind of like bash on their lives, you know? And they'll also have people on like Candace Owens and like, I don't know, oh, Pearl, the girl that we just shot, like they'll have those people on too. So they, I don't know if it's called balance, but they try to show both ends of the extremes. And I go back and forth on this because it's like they're not as aggressive as the fresh and fit people, but they do have a slant towards women in society or are becoming more crazy and, living these lives that aren't good for them or for other men, and they're, doing this and doing that. And so it's kind of like this, the judgment is still on the woman, basically, instead of just kind of like really trying to understand, like, well, maybe the reason that these men who are trying to find dates or who are like commenting on women are having issues finding women is because they're focusing on either focusing on the wrong woman, or they're just undesirable to be with because they see women as like things to be judged and commented on.
Yeah, that's fair. And I feel like with especially like the Pearl girl, for example, Pearl girl, I don't know. I just get like, it's very much a sense of you're saying things in order to appease somebody else or to, you know what I mean? It's like that,
Pick me.
like, yes, thank you. Like that pick me girl thing, that it's like, do you really think that way, that you are willing to quite literally degrade yourself as a whole in order to say like she makes comments that she doesn't think women should be allowed the right to vote anymore, that should be taken away because she doesn't think women have, the brain capacity or whatever it is. And it's just things like that. I'm like, why, where do you, I don't know, it's like, do you hate yourself that much? I don't know, it's very interesting.
Well,
But then
and
that's why, oh, go ahead.
no, you go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's why I really loved our guest so much, Bryce Adams, because I feel like somebody like that, you look at, again, kind of how we talked about society so much, places so much value, whether it's negative or positive, on being a woman and a woman's body and all these things. And we're so much, used as marketing pieces and things like that. And to recognize, what, if I do this, I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't type thing. Why not, recognize I'm confident. I love myself. I think I'm hot as hell. Like, and she is so hot that, what, I'm going to go make money off of this. I'm going to profit off of myself and be, if you know what I mean? Like, I just think that's very empowering in my mind, that you're able to kind of turn something that a lot of the times people make to be so negative into something that's like, oh, well, F you. If you're gonna, damned if I do, damned if I don't, if you're gonna say this if I, am making content, if I'm not, because I'm hot and I'm posting, people make negative comments. The girls post bikini photos on Instagram, and get comments, and they get hate on that. So it's like, well, F you, you know what? If I'm going to get hate from this group, but this group loves it, like, I'm going to go do me. And I just think it's awesome. Yeah. To be able to take something that I think a lot of people look at as a negative aspect and to be like, no, I'm going to do it. And it's awesome. And yeah.
No, I totally agree with you. I think most of it, and it doesn't have to just be like this one thing where women are like taking control of, yeah, like you said, kind of like just making sure that if people get comment on their bodies and if there's a way to make money off of it, that they just take control of it and do it on their own. I think that's, and really now, especially with the technology that we have, that's across any sort of like artistic pursuit. Like a lot of people can, make podcasts. I mean, as like we were just, hating on the fresh and fit people, but they have the right and the ability to, make content that they have to make. But on the alternative, not on the alternative, but on the flip side, the good thing is that there are alternative voices out there too. You know what I mean? And so like there's good and bad to it, but the fact that there is still the possibility of reclaiming kind of like a voice for yourself in that space. I think that's the point I'm trying to get across, is that like there's good and bad to it, but the fact that we do have like the power like Bryce does to reclaim her voice, or not reclaim it, but just basically make a voice for herself and be like, okay, like these people can. And she really didn't seem like that bothered her at all. Like,
No.
I think we asked her the question like, hey, like, do you get negative comments and stuff like that? And she's like, I don't pay attention to them, basically, or she really didn't, or something like that. So
yeah, and from talking with her, it seems like, and I commented on this in our interview with her, that it seems like she's really been able to create almost like a safe space in a community with her followers and the people that consume her content and follow her and things like that. And it's really cool. She has almost kind of relationships with some of these people in a sense of like friendships and, keeping up with people and just having a place where people can go and have somebody to talk to who's going to respond and that they can interact with. And a space where it is this truly free space where somebody is, being truly vulnerable and allowing you to see parts of themselves. And I think that's, she's created this like really tight-knit community, it seems like, genuinely on her page.
Mm-hmm. And she also she pays other people, like it's a legit business. Like she's she has like I think like a video, video producer, and then she has like several people working for her, so it's like
like a whole team.
Yeah,
it's incredible. Yeah,
she said she gets some Chick-fil-A or something like that, which I thought was funny. Yeah.
Best ever. I want to try to share, because I know you just shared. I'm going to try to share my screen and show a video that I
pulled up.
Yes.
And then we can, and then after we do this last piece, then we'll air the interview.
Yes. Okay. Let me see if can you see this?
Yes, it's TikTok.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I just want to show this because this is kind of what the damned if I do, damned if I don't type thing.
Okay.
And let me know if you can hear it too.
Being a girl is fucking tough. If you don't have an ass, you'll get made fun of because you're flat. But if you have one, don't show it off because then you're an asshole. If you don't have boobs, people will make fun of you. If you have boobs, don't bring attention to them because then you're a slut. If you're too short, wear heels. If you're taller than guys, it's awkward. If you're skinny, you're anorexic and you need to eat. If you're fat, you're obese and need to go on a diet. Because no one likes fat girls. If you never had a boyfriend, you're a lesbian. But if you've had more than one, you're a thought. If you have periods, it's gross. But if you haven't, you're not mature. If you lose your virginity, you're a whore. But if you haven't, you're scared. If you don't send nudes, you get blocked. But if you do, you get exposed and labeled for it. And guys wonder why girls are so insecure. Open your fucking eyes. Being a girl is...
And see, okay, that obviously is very much like abrasive language, so I apologize. But I don't know, it's just things like that it truly is kind of I feel like this constant double standard all the time. And it's like, why not use this at the end of the day again to like profit and make content and be like, it is what it is. Like, I'm gonna, I don't know, like be confident in myself and just be like a boss. I don't know. I just
Have you seen the Barbie movie?
Say it again.
Have you seen the Barbie movie?
Yes, I have.
Isn't that like a reflection, like a copy of what America for, I think that's her name, the actress.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Her like speech that she did. Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I really liked the Barbie movie. I enjoyed it.
I did too, honestly. And I feel like I'm just such a, I don't know why, like a critic when it comes to movies. And I hate it because I wish I could just sit and enjoy things a little bit more. But I feel like it was almost maybe hyped up so much that I was like, I did like it. But at the end, I was kind of like, oh, that was it. Like, I don't know. Maybe the hype was a little bit more than I thought it would be. It was a really good movie though. But
I mean, it's a kid's movie. You know what I mean?
I know. And my 26-year-old self was like all dressed up to go see it.
Did you go see it with a group of friends or did you go see it with Eric?
It was we went and saw the whole family in Maine on our annual family trip. So yeah, the fiance came, Eric, and all the family. My granddad came. All the men wore pink. It was great. My granddad really enjoyed it. He's my 9-year-old grandfather. Yeah,
I love that. I love family.
I know, but now it's like the Ken jokes are endless for my fiance. So it's great.
I do want that shirt, the one that says "I am Knuff."
I'm Knuff. I know, that is really funny.
It looks so cozy. I'd wear that to work.
Right?
Why not?
Everyone's Knuff. You don't have to be.
I know. I work in a male-dominated space. I think there's only like 3 girls in the workplace that I work in. Yeah. So I might get everyone an "I am Knuff" sweater.
Oh, please do it. That would be amazing.
We'll see. I don't know. I was looking at those the other day and they're pretty expensive. So I'm just like, they don't pay me enough to buy everyone a sweater. Maybe one person. Maybe it'll be like a white elephant gift or something.
That would be amazing. Oh, I love that. Yeah, mine's similar. It's very much a male-dominated space. I'm lucky that the team that I'm on has quite a few females. Why do I keep saying females? Like, since this conversation, I never say that, and I hate that phrase.
It's an infection. This type of
get it out of my mouth. Okay. Yeah. We do have a lot of women on my team, which is awesome, but it is a very male-dominated company that I work for sure. And yeah.
Yeah. I can see why. Okay. So Emily, this has been an amazing first sort of like podcast episode. I look like not so good, but I have an excuse.
Gorgeous.
Thank you. Emily, you look gorgeous as always, drinking from your goblet cup. And for people go ahead.
Wait, I gotta show you my Gryffindor Harry Potter coaster, Victoria.
When did you get that?
In Maine.
Oh, wow. I am actually
at a woodworking shop. Isn't it? It's cute. They're cute. They're like hand carved.
You're like an adult. I don't have coasters for my furniture. I
just buy the dumbest little knickknacks. That's all it is.
That's what adulting is. You make your own money to buy the dumbest little knickknacks. What do I don't even have anything. Okay, here's one thing I can show off.
No, I love that. That's awesome.
I think it used to turn on. I need to get not anymore.
That's so cute.
It is really
That'd be really cute as like a candle holder.
That is very true. And then I have like a little, my nephew came to visit me, my nephews in DC, and
a little Marlin.
Yeah, that is so funny.
That's so cute.
I thought it was a bug. I was cleaning my apartment and I thought it was a bug and I saw it and I was like, oh my God. And then I saw what it actually was and it made me happy because it reminded me when they were here.
Aww.
I know. Okay, so all right, y'all. So there's going to be an audio. This is going to be on some audio platforms, but for the people who are listening on the audio only platforms, this will also be. This is a video. Me and Emily are looking at each other right now. Yeah. So All the video links will be posted when the audio is published. The audio will always go up after the live stream. So the live stream will happen every Saturday. We'll keep you updated on when that is by just like following the live stream links, like YouTube, Twitch, all the good stuff. But the audio only version will be uploaded after the live stream. So if you want to see the video, then then click on those links and be ready every Saturday. But yeah, so we'll go straight into the interview. But before we do, Emily, anything to add?
This has just been so. Oh, let's do one of our icebreakers real fast, and then we'll go right into the interview. This is something that we want to incorporate into our episodes. So hopefully we'll start asking. I just got this, so we'll start asking guests to answer some questions when we interview them. And again, this is just our first live stream, guys. So we're just testing out the waters and seeing what's fun. So Victoria, I'm gonna have you pick. If I show this to you, can you read it? Or no? Is it backwards?
I can read it. It's backwards, but I can try to read it.
Okay, pick one of those categories.
What's the green one? I can't read that one.
If you could.
Okay, I'll do that one since I committed to it, I feel like.
Green, if you could. And then we'll both answer this question. This is something one of my former coworkers who recently left our company knew that me and Victoria were starting a podcast. So he got me this really fun icebreaker thing. Thank you so much, Anthpo, for this. You're the best. Icebreaker thing for our podcast. I thought it was perfect. So, Victoria, if you could never work again, how would you spend your time? I'm a workaholic.
Like, even when I'm not working, I'm working. Like, when I'm off my full-time job, I freelance write. So that is, I would probably
work some more.
I probably would. Yeah. Like, I'd try to get around it by saying I'm not working, I'm doing some hobbies, but it would probably be to write and travel and, and like do what we're doing here. Like, this is a hobby of mine, but it's requires some work. So it'd be like doing like the hobby stuff that I like and traveling. That's it.
Yeah. Love that. Mine would be, and I've preached this to Victoria so many times, if I could do anything and have like any amount of money in the world, I know Victoria's like, yep, shut up. I would rent like a huge property and I would rescue all of the animals that I could and just have a happy little giant rescue farm with all the dogs and all the cats. And that's how I would spend my time. And I'd probably have like a little garden too. So yeah.
I could have guessed that. Oh my goodness. I didn't want to like jump in, but I was like, I know what she's going to say.
No, I know. Anybody who knows me, I've probably like talked your ear off about that a million times because that's what I would love to do. If I could just feed all the animals.
It is actually like, that is a good heart thing. Like, I'm like, I'll travel the world. F the animals, but
no, I would do that too. I won't lie. I would do that too.
You'll travel with all the animals and all that stuff.
Heck yeah. I would need like a private jet at that point. I'd want like 50 animals more.
That is
all of them. Any animal that needs some help, send them my way. I'll take them all.
Be careful. Be careful what you say on a public live stream.
Fair. I don't do that. You guys don't know where I live. It's fine.
Okay. So I'm just going to read a quick bio of Bryce, and then we'll get straight into the interview. And then after the interview, that is the end of the live stream. So comment, like, share, tell people about it next week. So we can also give a tease to next week's guest, who is another famous digital content creator. His name is Mr. Obese to Beast. That's his YouTube name. He's pretty famous for being obese and then losing a significant amount of weight. And now he comments on the body positivity industry, the fitness industry, and he has very nuanced takes. He's not an extreme guy, so I really liked him.
Yeah, he was awesome. Got some good, Victoria's found some real good interviewees.
I'm super excited. Okay, so about Bryce Adams. Bryce Adams is a serial entrepreneur who built her first multi-million-dollar business right out of high school. Most recently, she's known for being the #1 liked creator on OnlyFans and earns in the top 0.01% of all creators on the platform. She's also the first creator on the platform to have over 1 million active fans. Bryce loves animals and lifting heavy weights. You can find her on fitbryce.com and Instagram at fitbryceadams. Both are safe for work. All right, so here we go. Hi, Bryce. Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello.
So my first question is, why the sunglasses?
Why the sunglasses? Okay, so initially when I started, I didn't show any face. So it was like here down. And then it morphed into like a mask just to ease my personal comfort more than anything. It started as like a security privacy thing. And then it was just more of like well, that's a little different. And it was more of an eye-catching thing. So now it's evolved to either wear the mask or sunglasses and anything public facing, just to have like a little something extra to give some of my fans that actually go all the way. So, and I think it's fun. I like the intrigue.
So that's interesting. You said a security or like a security thing. Is that often an issue?
I haven't had any issues. I think everybody's just, especially when you're starting out as an OnlyFans creator, you're not sure what your goals are, what your boundaries are going to be. A lot of people are super kind of conservative about having an OnlyFans page and like discussing it with people. And it's not normally a public thing. It's more of a private, personal thing. So it makes sense that people are much more privacy oriented and trying to shield their, identity to not be, spotted by friends. But at some point you have to kind of cross that boundary if you want to be big enough or stay small. So, but yeah, no, I haven't had any issues. I'm very lucky, I guess you would say, that I have awesome fans. They're super committed and they're super supportive. And I haven't really had like any issues like that.
That's awesome. And kind of the big question, why the platform OnlyFans compared to, some maybe other social media platforms or other platforms that are out there? What kind of made you gear towards OnlyFans specifically?
So that's an interesting question. Prior to this, I pretty much was like the least social media girl you can imagine. Like I never had Snapchat. I still have never had Snapchat. I barely ever used like Instagram. Like I didn't have one. So to kind of go from that to this is kind of an interesting change. So we had only just heard about OnlyFans and like heard about its growth. And it was like towards the end of 2020 that I heard about it from like a friend. And then I was like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. We just kind of wrote it off. So I only started in January of 2021. I missed the whole year of like 2020 COVID lockdown, like spike and everything. So I didn't really think of going to alternative platforms. So I was like, okay, well, it's kind of like I went back to our like previous business. We started a sporting goods business out of high school, and we primarily sold on like eBay and Amazon. So a similar kind of premise. If the marketplace has the eyeballs, but you're bringing the product, they're doing the advertising for you type of thing. So it's like, well, if all the fans are on OnlyFans, I will go there. Let's take one thing off the equation. So it really wasn't like, hey, let's go spray and pray on like all the platforms. Let's focus on one and master that and go as hard as we can. So that was kind of where we ended up going. So a mixing of not knowing about the others and knowing that was the one, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does. And it's something interesting that that I'm kind of curious about. So I used to work at Sonic and Chick-fil-A like before I did news and stuff like that. What other and I was like, I'm never going back to Sonic and Chick-fil-A. Like I'm just never doing fast food again because it was crazy. I have tons of crazy stories, but that's not the point. What other jobs did you have? And was like OnlyFans just like, some people say, like for some people it's like easy money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like the cash comes quick and it's just a way to have people fund their lives. Like simple stuff like rent and stuff like that. Was that the case for you? Or was it more just kind of like, I want to, create wealth and I want to do this. And this seems like the path that will lead me to there.
Good question. So ironically, we get Chick-fil-A like 6 days a week here. Like every day for lunch, we get Chick-fil-A. So it's kind of funny. They know us well over there. Like my whole team of 20, like 3 that work here on site, everybody is Chick-fil-A for lunch. So anyway, it's just ironic.
I love Chick-fil-A.
It can't beat it. I mean, it's really good. So anyways, so I mean, I always was working, like from the time that I could work, I did. And I always wanted to have like the freedom to do things. So from like an early age, I flipped like a lot of my clothes on eBay. So like in high school, I always wanted to kind of, you know, just have like, I wanted to look cute. So I would take things, I would sell them, I would wear them for a little bit, sell them. So it's kind of where my background in like learning how to run eBay. I ran through my mom's eBay account. I'm not, you know, it's not going to give, you know, an underage person an eBay account. And so when I started dating my boyfriend, we had like $200 and we went to a sporting goods store. We zeroed out the bank account. We bought some baseball bats and I knew how to sell them on eBay. So we flipped them. We made like $600 that first week. We're like, oh, that was cool. And then we're like, okay, we could, you know, maybe do it again and again. So that was kind of the start of our sporting goods business, like right out of high school. So we've had that business for the last 13 years. It still exists. It does really well. It does a couple million a year. And at this point, it's on autopilot. But for 10 years, if you will, we were dedicated to that, building systems. We learned, I mean, just so much from that business about team building, inventory, software, I mean, at just everything. So that's where like a lot of our baseline came in, and we always were working hard to improve that. And that's where a lot of our financial freedom came from. In between, we dabbled on like other little projects. That's a physical inventory business. So like literal physical goods that you have to like sell. So you always have like this problem of like, you have to have inventory to sell inventory. So you have a lot of money tied up in it. So we dabbled in other health and fitness things. That's where we started working out, and we realized that we had a pretty good thing going there. We had accomplished some of our baseline of like income things that we wanted for our life. But we knew we didn't want to do that forever. We like to build things, like to hang out with our friends and just do kind of just fun stuff. And so that kind of led into just trying different things. I don't think we were patient enough on several of the other projects, but that's okay. We ended up then getting to the point where on Sunday, on our date day, I was like, I'll just make OnlyFans. I'll try it out. We heard about it from our one friend. Let's just, let's see how it goes. And I sold $62 in like the first hour in photos. And so I showed my boyfriend, and he was kind of like, like those are good photos, but like that's a lot. Like, what? So we went for a walk. We looked at the market cap, realized it was not like a niche thing or anything like that. So we're like, okay. And we started doing market research, seeing what the other content was like on platform. And we're like, well, we don't have any social media. We have no following, but we know what we're capable of. And this looks like a really cool, fun challenge. So we're like, we'll try it out. And basically from there, we did 2.2 million our first year, and we did 5 million without having any kind of social media accounts whatsoever. So like, if you look at my Instagram now, we're only just now starting to like work on that. Actually, we just built it. Like, we came at it from a business perspective and did it as like an authentic person. We just decided to be ourselves through and through. It's the easiest thing in the world, is to be yourself. And we just hardcore committed on being every little detail of our life shared. So long answer, but that's my job history.
No, that's awesome. And I think a lot of people would be curious, who are maybe interested in getting into that space, because you're kind of talking about how you guys, maybe didn't have that following ahead of time to kind of like throw you into that space or launch you into that space. So I guess what's like a piece of advice that maybe you would give somebody trying to enter the OnlyFans platform?
I would say have a clear, defined goal for yourself, because that will eliminate what you want to do with your page, or if you're starting to be a content creator. If you're trying to be number one, that's a different game plan than trying to have, a side hustle that you want to explore yourself with and share some fun things. So I would identify your goal, and then I would identify, how do you want to go about that? Do you want to be super public? Do you want to be super private? Because you can have your own full little world on your page that is, a small pond of dedicated people, and it's totally manageable as like a one-person team, and you can do it after work, and you can get a lot of fulfillment out of it. Or you can be like, no, I want to be hardcore. I want to grow this thing. This is going to become my new life. I'm going to commit to it, and I want to have a team of 10. So totally different things. But for me, and I can only speak from my personal experience, being completely myself has been key to our success. just not necessarily like, you know, what people expect. I think it drives a lot of intrigue and a lot of respect from our fans. And I have built a really cool community. Like I got spoiled because I got used to them and how they talk and how we would just bounce ideas off of, and everybody would be super like just constructive criticism and friendly. And then when I started the social media, I was like, oh my God, this world is like so upset with everybody. So it's totally different. But
Yeah.
so yeah, I would say be yourself and have a clear defined goal, so then you can align with your path. That makes sense to me.
And then kind of bouncing off of that question, who would not be good for something like a career like this? What are some red flags?
Technology? I mean, honestly, it's totally your world. Like the whole content creator space is like really intriguing, really interesting, because you can have, you know, an audio platform with a podcast. You can literally make art on YouTube. I mean, you can make long form, short forms. You could do whatever. You can just document your life. And like, there's this thing where people are trying to share a lot more of their information, their life, and other people are trying to watch and engage and just build relationships with people. So I don't know. I mean, as long I guess if you don't even know technology, as long as you have somebody else who can do it for you, you know what I mean? So I don't know past that.
Yeah.
Someone wants you. There you go. That's the real answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because there was that whole like Andrew Tate controversy, because he was like basically making money off of, you know, like all these allegations against him about him making money off of girls and stuff like that. So there is like this like weird kind of like gray line when it comes to like industries like these. And then Emily, I don't know if you had a question, but we're going back and forth, and I forgot whose turn it was.
Okay.
Well, it's okay. Yeah, I find it so fascinating because, you know, this was a platform that when I feel like it first launched, that, you know, people had a lot of backlash and negative comments to say. And I feel like people have almost started coming around and recognizing that like this is a great opportunity for, you know, young entrepreneurs and people to make money and, like you said, a side hustle and be able to share their life with the world or share the parts that they want to share and have that extra income, disposable income if they want to. And I'm kind of curious, like what sort of backlash, if any, have you gotten over the course of doing this?
Not much that I've been aware of. Like, I'm sure there is. Someone's always going to be upset with you about something, basically. You can't please everybody, that's for sure. Honestly, my Instagram comments are the meanest things, mostly just physical attacks on my boobs, honestly. But no, as far as like being like an OnlyFans creator and stuff, I think because we came at it being ourselves and like having like a business aspect to it, we've actually gotten a lot of really cool feedback, a lot of respect, a lot of different kind of, even just industries are just like, oh, that's neat. That's interesting. Oh, you guys are doing things differently. Okay, cool. Like, I don't really think I've gotten too much backlash. I mean, I'm sure there's that general underlying of like, oh, you make adult content. Oh, you know, oh my God, you know, you're sharing your life like that. That's, you know, not kosher, whatever. Things that people want to complain about, which I just don't put myself on. Basically, just I want to create like a really safe community, which I think I have, and I want to have as many people there as possible to actually be themselves. Like, there should be no problem with somebody being like a really great accountant and loving BDSM. Like, those are not mutually exclusive. You can be both things. Yeah, I don't know that you're going to be doing accounting while you're doing BDSM, but like, you know, like it should be fine. So, I have found that a lot of my fans, I mean, we get people who are like going to college and like they're going on their first date. And then we have like people who are widowers and they're looking for companionship. And we have couples, then they're looking to spice up things. So, I mean, we get this full gamut of people and everyone is there to just be themselves. And it's cool. It's cool because I've learned a lot about myself, and it's nice to get the same thing back from my fans. People who are like going on weight loss journeys and losing 100 pounds. I mean, that's amazing. So like, it's not like I sell anything. I don't sell like a workout program and I'm like, yes, you must do it. No, like literally just the fans being there. They're like, hey, I got motivated, so I want to share my progress. I'm like, well, that's so cool. It's literally, I mean, just, I don't know. It blows my mind.
So you keep saying we, and you mentioned earlier that there's like 23 people on your team. How did that happen? Like what was because you said it started with you and your boyfriend, and then it just grew to 23 people and everyone's getting Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, there's kind of a gap in there. Sorry. Okay. So my boyfriend and I have been together for 13 years. We started the sporting goods business together. So pretty much almost from like day one, we have meshed really, really well. It was a cool meshing of skills where he's very good at like data, visionary, and like game planning, and I will be the workhorse to execute on a lot of things. And then we've just together built a lot of skills. We've spent, thousands of hours like reading books, podcasts. Every little thing that you could think of. So we went from having our sporting goods business and we started this, and we quickly realized, okay, well, we need a couple extra hands. So we actually started pulling people from our sporting goods business. And when we're like, okay, this can be bigger and this is more important and more interesting, we're not the best at hiring. We're still getting better at it. Like, we don't go out and post job listings. Even in our sporting goods business, we didn't. We always hire like friends and family, just because it was more like a core principle of like, I know this person, I can trust this person, and I have full hope that we can train them in whatever capacity and we'll find something for them to do. So that's kind of really what we've ended up doing, is just hiring like our friends and then friends of friends, and then they become our bigger friend group. And we are a collection of probably mostly untrained in our sector people, but we care enough. So we have a ton of people who have like just coding jobs. all sorts of stuff that like people who are not like professionally trained. They've just like taken the time here to like dedicate themselves to focusing on their skills. So so I have like 3 editors. I have 5 people that help me with ads. I have my chat girls. I have a couple of page operators. I have 4 developers. So there's a lot going on all the time. You definitely don't have to do it that way, by the way. We are crazy people. We love it. We spend 80, 90, 100 hours a week like doing this. Like, we love it. So that's our shindig. But we try to loop back to the chat girls real quick. So they are my friends. I actually train them, and we say on my page, because people are aware that I have a lot of fans and it's a really big deal at this point, and I physically don't have the time to get back to everybody, which is a personal pain to me. So I literally hire my girlfriends, and they sign each message, and they let them know like, hey, I'll let Bryce know about this. Oh, hey, this is Elle. Well, and actually respond to everybody. So we're super transparent about that. So the fans like that too.
Oh, that's so cool. I'd really like, what does a day-to-day look like for you? Because I know obviously you guys have the sports business, so I'm sure there's kind of like overlapping and things like that. But what does a typical day like look like? Like, what do you have to put in to make content happen?
So quick note on the sporting goods business. We have automated and systematized that so well, and hired our friends and family to run that we spend 0 time on it. I have no idea what's going on there. I know it's there, they have a job, and they're happy. Like, cool. I know it makes money. It's good. But yeah, no, this is like we have blinders on. We are just full focused right here. But day-to-day wise, we're usually up like 7-ish, 7:30. We go for a walk. We do some brainstorming, my boyfriend and I. We work from 8 to 12 typically in our office. He's doing a ton of data work right now, and we have built our own software in-house actually to help automate and optimize a lot of our messaging and some other back-end stuff. It really helped a lot when I was still doing all the messages, because I just needed to be able to be more efficient so I could actually focus on like the fans' response as opposed to like scrolling through a vault trying to find something for an hour. So that's kind of a big deal there. And page operations, content planning, and then advertising are kind of like my big things, along with engaging with fans. So I do like live streams, messaging on my VIP page, stuff like that. So that's kind of a smattering. I will always have like a couple major projects or initiatives I'm kind of working on. Like right now I'm doing a couple big things with social media and a couple big things with my advertising. And I happen to have friends in town, so we're doing a lot of safe work content this weekend. So like there's stuff like that. But we have team lunch from 12 to 1:30. We get the Chick-fil-A. And there's always something crazy going on here at the farm, because we have 10 acres and there's a pond, and we have, just anything and everything. It's always an interesting time. And we had another work block in the afternoon. We work out from 5 to 6. Whoever wants to hang out, because we have a 4,000 square foot building in the back, and that's half gym, half office, and that's where everybody works. Like literally, my parking lot is filled with my team now as I speak. And then we'll do another night block. Sometimes we'll go for a walk. Sometimes people will hang out. We'll make some content. We won't make some content. It's a little fluid, but a lot of work. That's okay.
That is wild. That's how it's funny, because it kind of sounds like a conference, because I've been to like several conferences before, and that's how they plan our days. It's like through blocks and team building and stuff like that. So it's just so interesting how it's like more business. Oh, it is a business, so it's interesting. Like I never thought of it through the lens of like the vocabulary that you're using is business oriented vocabulary, Yeah. So my question is, when it comes to the charity work that you do, because that's how I kind of came across your profile page is I get a bunch of like emails about people who are doing things specifically in charity because I write for a charity nonprofit.
Nice.
So number one, how did you get into the line of the charity work that you do? And where did it all begin?
So I've always had like this like crazy love for like animals. So prior to starting OnlyFans, I would rescue cats. I still do. I do something called like trap neuter turn. So we like spay and neuter like feral cats, and we adopt out as many as we can, rehome them, and then other ones we will like return to safe environments or like a barn on a farm or something like that to help with like rodent control, stuff like that. So I've always kind of had that and dabbled and loved that. But when we start getting into the OnlyFans, kind of speaking to like some of what we were talking about earlier with like controversy aspect, we thought, well, this is a cool way to give back. It's a really fun way to engage with our fans on a totally different level if we fundraise with our fans together. I am already going to be doing my workout. So primarily most of our charities are naked gyms. Basically, I live stream in my gym. I work out. It's non-sexual. I just do my workout fully hard, like normal workout, but like I just do it naked and we give them really cool views. We hang out, I engage, and then we will pick a charity ahead of time, advertise that on the page, and basically all of the tips that come in from that, we donate the full amount. So even though OnlyFans has fees, which makes sense, they're running a platform, we donate the 1-to-1. So if we make $3,000 on the live stream, I donate $3,000 and I always post the receipt on the page. But speaking to the controversy part, we thought, hey, why not add on a little extra layer for the people who are like, you do adult content, you know, you're not a great person. It's like, well, I just donated to your favorite charity. So now how do you rectify that? You know, just like getting people to think a little bit differently, that you can be the accountant and like BDSM, you can do charity work and you can still make adult content. Like you're not a bad person for doing these things. So, so we got a lot of joy, I guess, out of just doing that with the fans. And a lot of the charities that we pick has personal meaning to myself or anybody on my team. A lot of my friends have, you know, somebody who knows somebody, or, you know, one of my team members on my team has cancer currently. And so we've done a lot of donating to her specific charity that's helping her through her treatment. So just everything that means a lot to us. And we've done a ton with veterans, first responders, and a lot of health charities too. So long answer again, sorry.
Wait, I have a quick question. When you do, when it's like for a person, like veterans or first responders or something like that, are people like, do they give you a look like you want to, you know, give back to our charity? Like, what is it exactly that you do? How are you doing this money? Like,
no, not that I've been aware of. I mean, I know I get a lot of the automated thank you emails, but no, I've never had anybody like, no one's ever returned any funds. No one's ever been like, oh, we can't accept this. No, everybody's been actually very receptive, very, very nice. Often I will kind of post like a couple different charity options and I'll let the fans kind of pick between them. But no, I mean, I've done fallen firefighters for the last 2 years for 9/11. We've done canines for warriors for like Veterans Day, 4th of July, things like that. So we try and gear it more towards like if there's a holiday or something like that, you know, Memorial Day, anything like that, we'll try and gear that around it. But no, I mean, everyone's usually like, this is really cool. We appreciate it. I mean, I have a lot of veterans and first responders on the page as fans, and they're like, hey, thank you so much for doing this, for thinking of like, you know, us. And it's just, I don't know. It means a lot to me, probably a lot more than people even like realize, but yeah, it's been really rewarding. That part's been like an exceptional foothold, I guess you'd say.
That's so awesome. And I love that you are a cat person, because I'm absolutely a cat person too. So I'm like, yeah, save the kitties.
I have bunches, so I get it.
It's like a mini zoo over here, I like to joke. So I'm interested because you know, especially, you know, being a female in society, I feel like is so hard sometimes. There's so much media content and, you know, propaganda pushed on you of what's expected and body image and all these things. And I'm, you know, I've struggled with body image and self-consciousness and things like that. So have you always been like a super confident person? Have you had to kind of like fake it till you make it? Or is it something, have you grown into being confident? Kind of how's that like body image journey been with this and kind of before?
Sure. So thankfully enough, I think I got really lucky with my boyfriend in that he's always kind of pushed me to be like the best version of myself. We were always kind of like trying to learn things together. Like in our spare time, we're not nothing against like people who just want to chill and watch games or video games or something like that. We barely ever did any of that. We were always like taking walks, researching things. And so kind of in between, like when we were kind of like dying down from the sporting business, looking for something else, that was when our health and fitness journey started. And that was because we had focused so hard on the sporting goods business that we didn't really like care or take, great personal care of our aesthetics. So he had gotten overweight and he was like, you know what? I don't want to look like this. And I was like, well, I'll do it with you. And I was just getting like skinny fat. I've always been small and lean, but never like had a lot of muscle, I guess you would say. So we went on that fitness journey kind of together and we learned all of that. And at first I was like, why does anybody work out? Like who needs that? And then like I started like actually pay attention to myself and I was like, I could feel a lot better and I could be stronger and I could be more capable and that, it probably will make me feel like just more confident in myself. So we've been dedicated to that for like the last 6-7 years now. And I've made a ton of physical progress. I'm super proud of it. He's made a massive amount of progress. He looks phenomenal. And what's really neat is it kind of spread throughout our friends and throughout our family. And like they all started to take it as like a more serious thing. But I mean, we're nuts. We track our food, we track our weights, we track our workouts, like rep sets, everything, like what exercise. And we've done that for like 7 years. So like we have all this data. We love data. So historical information. But I've really physically enjoyed it. And I would say distinctly with OF and me having to rise to the occasion, I guess personally, of like, I just got so much personal growth from doing OnlyFans, from being myself, from being out there, from being, like, hey, you know what? I don't know about that, but I'm going to try that. And then I'll get some feedback and see. And I was like, I kind of liked it, So I have gotten a lot more confident, a lot more capable, I guess you would say, in the last 2.5 years from doing this experience and from having my boyfriend's like unconditional support. And like, he's like, I believe that you can do it. You can do whatever you want to do. Hey, is this, are we going to learn something? Are you going to, challenge yourself? Like, hey, cool, build some character. So without his support, I don't think I would be in the position that I am. And I think partially because I don't have like the social media presence and I didn't pay great attention. And I was always so focused on like building our business. I didn't get a ton of that pressure, I guess you would get from society or from, I've heard other people talk about it. I just can't speak about it from personal experience outside of Instagram, I guess, attacking my boobs. But I'm like, at this point, I'm like, come on, have at it. You know what I mean? It's fine. I'm like, my ass looks great. I built that. So, but yeah, I hope that answers it.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah. And Emily and I come from like semi-public facing backgrounds. And just the hate, I think we got hate because of the work that we did. Like sometimes like you would just show up and you would see like emails, I've tried to get, like someone called my boss and tried to get me fired for doing my job because we were news reporters. Yeah. And so just like crazy stories like that. And so it's always interesting to hear someone who does something a little bit more like, because like creating like OnlyFans content is definitely a little bit more like on the free-minded, like liberal side. And so it's interesting, like usually there's just a lot of open-mindedness, but then there can also be a lot of like judgment as well. I don't want to say hypocrisy, but just like people are going to be people and it's just human nature just to like attack other people. And so like when it comes from the liberal minded side, like sometimes it's like, I'm always surprised about like how truly kind of like open it can be, even though like people can be disgusting and like try to tear people down, especially on social media, which is like so toxic, in my opinion.
People will always have something to say. There's no possible way to make everybody happy. It doesn't matter on what side of the aisle that you're on. Like someone's gonna have something. They'll be like, they're fine with this part, they're not fine with this part. I'm like, can we like just make a happy medium? But I'm with you. It's always gonna be something. And I just basically I'm like, that's fine. Like same thing I said earlier. Like you guys do you. I'm gonna do me. I'm not gonna post my stuff on you guys. I'm gonna build my business, provide for 23 people. Have an amazing time with all of my friends, engage with my fans, support them. So many of them have made, huge life choices, changing jobs, learning new skills. I mean, just having an effect like that, I'm like, that supersedes the fact that I make an adult video like that. Just because I have fun and I like to share like my entire life, like we jokingly say this is the most real vlog because it's end to end. Like normally you only get either just the bedroom on Pornhub or you get, just the day job type of thing. It's like, no, you see the whole thing here. But it's like, I am, and so is everybody else, this whole thing, like whether people want to talk about it or not, like people have sex and people have work and people have skills and friends. So it's like, it doesn't matter if you want to harp on one thing, that's okay. have fun with your life. I'm going to enjoy mine.
Yeah. I have like I have two more questions, and then Emily, I don't know, like I'll ask a question, you can ask, and then, okay, one more. So do you have to like do anything to like get in the mood to like create content? Like, is there like a prep system that you do?
No, oh God, I'm like lucky in that I'm pretty like, I guess, naturally wild, which I was kind of already a little wild before this, but then I think I became uncorked. So now I'm just like, okay, well, this sounds fun. And I'm in a great environment where people just know that I'm kind of like that. And I'm like, hey, surprise, or something like that. But no, not really. I mean, oops, sorry. Normally I'm just, I don't know, I'm just myself. And it's like, this is a cool opportunity. This is a cool concept. Like, this sounds fun to me. And yeah, I mean, for my videos, like videos, post, everything, like whether it's OF, social media, etc. Like, I don't edit anything. I don't have filters. Like it's literally from my camera roll, dropped and uploaded. Like it's the most real thing. So like, even though I have over 500 like sex tapes at this point, they're all like real scenarios. I don't like role play. I don't do scripts. I don't take, let's retake that. No, it's like if I, giggle, snort, trip over the rug, the light goes out, it, gets blurry. I leave all that in. I say all that. I'm like super like, I'm there to have a good time and document it and share my life. Like that's first priority. So it's just be myself, and I'm not forcing or faking anything. It just ties all in with like, be yourself and enjoy what you're doing type of thing. So no, just because I'm naturally like that, and I'm in a great environment.
That's awesome. And it like, I think you would use this phrase earlier, that it's like almost like a safe space that you've kind of created for some of your followers. And I think that's really cool, because kind of like Victoria was saying, even when we were in the news, like people would email in hating, wanting to make comments about how I hate her hair today, I hate her makeup today. It's like, why? So to know that like on a platform like that, where, from my perspective, you maybe wouldn't expect that, or you would expect people to, want to, make negative comments. Like that's a really cool thing, that it's kind of almost this like niche safe space that you've been able to create. And I want to know, like, is there content that's like your favorite to create? Like, is there something that like when it's film day that day and you're like, oh, I can't wait to do this. Like it's I don't know if there's like something that is your favorite to.
Well, I'll address both parts. So I agree. I think it's really cool that it is a safe space. I think you kind of have an interesting thing, because it's like people don't really talk about, you don't get word of mouth from OnlyFans. You know what I mean? You're not sitting down at the coffee shop and be like, so the girl I follow on OnlyFans, it just doesn't happen. And like, it's like an elevated Instagram, like people want to follow your life and see it, but like Instagram's so filtered for like looking a certain way, where OnlyFans can be whatever. Like actually there's a chance that a fan can join and they have a chance to talk to you, where in Instagram you're like, there's just no shot. So I think that's really cool that they actually can see your real life, and having that safe, it's like they're actually signing up and they're committing, and then they have to recheck in. It's not an app that they can pull up like TikTok or Instagram and just kind of scroll. It's like you commit to be there. So I think there's this extra level of commitment and seriousness for anybody who does actually join your page. They're more intrigued on getting to know you. So I think that's where that difference probably in follower versus fan comes in, at least from my book. I forgot the other question. I apologize. It was...
what's your favorite content to shoot, if you have it?
Appreciate that. Got sidetracked. Man, I don't know. I don't. A lot of the time, we are just doing things, and we just get excited about having a really cool, fun experience. So like 2 days ago, we're working out in the gym, and it's just like me and my boyfriend and like 7 of our team, and we're just hanging out and having a good time. And I'm like jungle gymming up on like our rogue squat racks. And it was just like, oh, that's a cool angle. Oh, that's fun. Oh, here, we can make this real. That'd be really neat. Like, oh, hey, let's play. It just naturally occurs. So anytime we're just casual and hanging out, like we just have a good time, and someone's always doing something funny or interesting or intriguing, and we just have a time and a place where we can record that. And because we're on our 10 acres, we can do whatever we want here. So like we painted an 110-foot American flag on the ground for 4th of July. You know what I mean? So we just do things that we think are going to be fun and we're going to enjoy, and then naturally other people enjoy it too. So I don't know, just having life be fun. I don't know.
So this will be like our last question. Because we kind of, because for people who are watching this, we're actually recording this 8 a.m. on a Friday. So Bryce has been incredibly like generous with her time to do this. 8 a.m. Eastern time. So I don't know if Bryce is on Central or
I'm Eastern.
Okay, good. I was like, I hope she's not in Pacific because this is 8 a.m. so early.
I'll still do it for you guys. It's okay.
So yeah, like my last question is your romantic relationship. You've been with your boyfriend for 13 years. Have there been like any bumps? Have there been any like tension or how has that kind of like journey been like?
Deep question. So we have like an open relationship, but that wasn't always like the easiest thing. And it's primarily based on like communication and honesty. So like that we've had a lot of discussions, and that takes a lot of effort. It's not an easy thing to kind of just like plop yourself into and figure out. And I think a lot of people who are in that space have difficulty doing that. And so we've found a good rhythm. We've had to make iterations over the years because just things change, parameters change. You think you feel one way and you get some more data and you're like, oh, okay, well, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting that. So, but as long as we're able to communicate and iterate and we realize that we are each other's priorities and on the same team first and foremost, that's kind of where it's come back to. And then it's like, well, he has the same permissions that I do. So I get to have fun. He gets to have fun. And then we are still like, we know that we're still committed to each other and come back. And like, that's our number one, if that makes sense. But yeah, no, I mean, not sunshine and rainbows all the time, 100%. Takes effort. It's not always going to be easy. It's not like, oh, we've reached a stage and now from here on out, it's smooth sailing. Like, I'm sure there's going to be interesting random things and events that, you're going to come across in life, such as any job, any friendship, any relationship. But, I'm glad because I have been able to, I would think I had like kind of like closed parameters for myself in my life and like certain things that I thought like, well, this is the way that it has to go. And I'm glad that my boyfriend's so much more open-minded because he always made me think differently about things. And I mean, that's why we are where we are today, because we were thinking differently and because he would open my mind to some of the things that he's like, well, have you thought about this? Have you considered that? And I'm like, oh, no, but now I have. So I don't know, I'm really grateful for him. And I hope everybody can find a great partner in that they support them with whatever they want to do, whether that's, a painting hobby or running an OnlyFans. So hopefully that helps.
Yeah, Bryce, thank you so much for joining us today. Emily, I don't know if you have any last words, but I just want to say again, just like, thank you for your time, because this is something that we were just so interested in having this conversation. And I think especially because there's so much like taboo around it. And there's definitely a lot of like, at least in my world, there's a lot of like from my age group, there's a lot of people like, oh, OnlyFans. Like my best friend is visiting me from Dallas and I told her what I was doing this morning and she's so open-minded and she was like, oh, that's cool. But then like, I know for sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are like, what is this about? Like, what's going on? And it's like, when you come from that kind of like mindset, it's definitely just like, you're not at least curious. You know what I mean? You're not at least like wanting to ask questions, at the very least wanting to ask questions. You're just going to automatically reject talking to someone who might do something that's like something that you would never do. Even though you wouldn't do it, you're not at least like, wait, what is this about? You know what I mean?
Totally. I think people are just scared sometimes. They're probably trying to avoid something within themselves. It's usually a personal thing more than like another person thing. Like normally if you have an issue with somebody else, it's more like reflected on yourself of like, well, I feel insecure about this. So like, that's just going to like push that insecurity up or something like, and I can I'm speaking for myself from personal experience on that. But yeah, no, I think it's interesting to ask people about their lives and what they do and why they do it. And like, we can all learn a lot from anybody. You can learn people, different places in life, different ages, different skills. You can learn so many cool things. Like, I'm not in the military at all, but I would love to know all about like fighter jets or something. Somebody teach me that, that's super cool. Like, you know what I mean? Just like, I think what you said applies very well.
Definitely. You can't be scared of what you don't know. So I think that was a great point. Yeah.
That's a good place to end it on. That was perfect. You can't be scared of what you don't know.
Agreed.